Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
And welcome back to another episode of Great Morning. I'm your host, Christian Murmur, Murms, Murmdog, whatever the fuck you want to call me. And to the top left of my computer screen, we have the Fact Queen, my sister from the East, that Puerto Rican mamacita from Spanish Harlem, Stephanie 2.0. How you doing, Steph?
Gang, motherfucking gang.
I hear the fucking rain.
What? You hear rain because
I hear it
I'm
just
in the fucking car.
Just dripping on your car.
I'm running errands, but you know, podcast is life. So
Up and we lost her. And we lost her just
Podcast
like
is
that.
life.
And then
In the car running errands.
and she's gone.
It's life. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a thumbs up for that.
it is. But yeah, you know.
Oh my God, Stephanie, you are cutting out.
We're doing good here. We're doing good.
This is
MIA. My apologies. You know, wait, am I even in the chat?
Yeah,
Can you hear
sorry,
me now?
now we hear you. Yeah.
Hey guys. Okay. All right. But yeah, podcast is fucking life. So I took my handy dandy laptop. Did I
Hell yeah.
cut off again?
No, I think you're
Okay,
good now.
well,
I'm
I'm
going to
back
ask you
with
one
this.
last question. And if
Okay.
you cut out again, I'm going to move on. I was going to ask what you've been up to
Okay,
these
go.
last, what have you been up to these last 2 weeks? Because we haven't heard from you in a couple episodes.
I started a new job
Okay.
and it's gonna be a month now, and I've just been super happy with my position, and it's been amazing. It's like I'm in a good space, and yeah, and I also have a new number, so that was also one of our issues. But yeah, you know, I've just been chilling though. But how about y'all?
Want to be found. Change
Hell
of
yeah.
times.
Been fucking good. Yeah, that was funny. You well, two things. I remember you hit us up and you're like, "Oh yeah, I got a new number." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no wonder her fucking phone calls are going straight to voicemail." She got a new
I remember
fucking number.
one time when you changed your version, and for the longest time I was texting whoever owned that number now. And it was very awkward for a while because I would text you like, "Oh, are you going to be up at?" And you're just like, "Oh, wrong number." I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, buddy." And then like next week, I'd text the same number, be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you going to head over to the bar real quick?" And it'd be like, "Still the wrong number." Like, all right, yeah, shit. I'd be looking through my phone, like, "What's his new number? He didn't say that." It's just a
No, but the problem is that I still have that number,
Oh, you do?
but that phone doesn't work.
Okay.
mm.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, all right.
Fair
will
enough.
see about getting rid of that number. I also like how you texted us this morning and you were like, "What time are we setting up? I'm heading to the market." Which I feel like I've never heard anyone in New Jersey call it the market.
Oh, the market, like it's the goddamn Renaissance.
That sounds like
you're gonna take the kids to the market and get a whole roast chicken,
yeah.
take it home, and
You know, Connor, it
Right.
reminds me
family.
it reminds me of like when we were kids, like in Spanish class, and you were trying to write a sentence like "the boys go to the market" because like that's how it translated.
The literal translation of grocery stores.
It's just market. So that's what it reminded me of. But that was that was funny to see this morning. But anyway, Stephanie, I'm glad you're with us today. I'm glad you're out in your car. I'm glad you were cleaning your car. I'm glad the rain is hitting your car right now. But thanks for coming on as always. But I know Jimi, I think, is coming into the call here soon.
no
So we'll get to him in a bit. But I want to go ahead and introduce our guest today. All right.
That'd be me.
That would be you. Our guest today is actually a very old friend of mine. And he identifies now as a funeral director, and he also is known for his body snatching. So, Connor Phillips, how are you today?
We're doing good. It's a decent Saturday morning here. It's a little rain out if you're from the North Jersey area, the 973. It's a little gloomy out, but we're doing all right. We got some Coors Banquets on deck here.
Yeah, I see that.
I got another one primed, ready to go here. The fridge is sitting right behind me in case I get through that one pretty quick. But we're doing all right. How's everyone doing?
The Coors Banquet. That's your go-to beer, huh?
It's always been my go-to. It's always been something about the stubby bottles here. They get me going. I don't know what it is. It's like a classic. Saying.
You know what I think I like a little bit better than Coors Banquet is the Miller High Life now.
Those are a good choice too. I usually go with those if I'm feeling a little banqueted out. They are cheap though. Miller High Life. No one would expect, contrary to the name High Life, they are not for the people of high.
That's the champagne of beers, right? Or is that Coors Banquet?
No, this is the banquet beer.
The banquet. So Miller High Life is the champagne of beers then.
Yeah, Miller High Life would be the champagne of beers.
All right, cool.
Even though that's kind of an oxymoron because it's like 50 cents a bottle.
But yeah, Connor, we have you on today. I know you wanted to talk about being a funeral director, but so I was going to explain this to Jimmy and Stephanie that you do the normal duties of a funeral director.
What?
Yeah, he's a funeral director.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be so juicy couture. Let's
okay, so you're gonna tell Stephanie a little bit about just the funeral director part first, and then we'll get into the
let's see. I do I run two jobs really, and the two jobs are pretty much conjoined to one home. But I'll start off with the first, which is working out. I'm not an official director yet by state law means.
Yeah.
I still have to go take my board. And I'd have to pass a state board and a national board in order to get my official license. That's coming up, though.
Okay.
So for right now, the literal term would be intern, I guess you would call it, as per what the state calls it. But really, I'm just a full-time home.
Yeah. So what do you do there then at the funeral home?
What do we do? we do a lot.
Other than send me Snapchats.
Oh yeah, you get the occasional something weird, I don't send anything too much, so nothing.
No,
set off any alarm bell. But every once in a while, we really just the goal of a funeral director in your town or your community is really just to take care and look after those in your community who have died. Mm-hmm. You look after the families of those who had passed away, who had a loved one pass away. So generally speaking, traditionally, they had. Say someone's grandfather passed away, they want to have him buried. They want to have him viewed at a funeral home. They want to have an open casket. That would require an embalming. It requires them to be at the funeral home after they had passed away at, hospital or hospice house, or whether they're on hospice at their own home. That requires us to go out and physically retrieve them and go out and talk to the family in whatever state they may be, happy, sad, crying, denial, whatever it may be, and you just kind of have to be with the family, like a lawyer would be to their client. You want to be there for them.
That's such an important job. Like that's really, really important because
there's a level of importance to it. Absolutely, it's definitely a needed position in towns and other communities and cities to be able to. And I don't mean to sound morbid about it, but you need to be able to dispose of those who have died. And if I dispose, I don't mean throwing in trash, getting rid of them.
You just throw them in the fucking garbage can.
You're not going to grab someone by their belt loop and their collar and be like, oh, well, Timmy's gone. Just chuck them in the garbage trash. No, that's what it's called. It's disposition. Whether you were cremated or buried, that's what it's called, disposition.
Yeah. Okay. So then I want to know a little bit more about because like I said in the beginning, I know you have like two positions in the job. And the other one is you go in a van.
The other one, I work for the medical exam.
Yeah. So how does that work? Like, what? I'm still.
I'll explain it. I know it's a confusing idea. It's this is really just has to do with North Jersey and some counties. I can't speak for all states or even all counties, but at least for the county that I reside in, Orange County. If there's an unattended death in that county, or the counties that they look over, which is Sussex and Warren County, so they look after 3 counties. If there's an unattended death in any of those counties, the medical examiner is required to know whether it's
Okay.
a suicide, an overdose, an old man that fell downstairs, a murder, anything like that. The medical examiner will reach out with other detectives and investigators and study that scene, study the body, and come up with a verdict. Now, like I said, that the county of Morris requires that a funeral home also be contracted with them to run out to every single scene that they go. And that's really just for added help taking photos, help pulling the decedent out of the house or wherever they are, load them onto a stretcher, and then transport them back to the morgue, really, which is a town called Morristown. No, listening is familiar with that. That's the biggest hub where all the 3 counties go to and the biggest hospital. So all of anybody who's died unattended really just goes back to Morristown Hospital, where their morgue and the medical. That's the second part of the job, and that's really what actually takes up a lot of it. It's really at any point in the day or night, I could just get a phone call and say, "Oh, I need you to meet me over here in the town of Boone. This address. It's an overdose. We got to go."
What do you think is? I know this is a little bit again. This is morbid discussion today, but what do you think?
I hate to say it, but there's nothing too morbid you could really say to me that I really
exactly. No, exactly. So
what's your body count?
Oh boy, it's in the thousands.
The thousands.
I would say it's probably in thousands. No, I'm exaggerating. It's probably it's upper 100. I haven't kept track.
Yeah, after a while.
There are people who I've worked with that are in for sure.
There's people that you've worked with the what?
They have the body count
of 1,000. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Who have been there before I was.
So what would you say is like the most prominent reason you're called out for these deaths? Like what is the number one reason of death?
You know what? I try to figure that out myself too, but it just every time I try and get a beat on it, I'm like, oh, this week seems to be overdose, heroin. Yeah. And it just changes up to
have you ever seen a body that was just, I don't know, completely ridiculously slaughtered, like horror movie style, like or like
this is a dark question.
No, that would probably be next. I've been on a few murders, but I don't go on them too often. If it's obviously a murder, it's like scenario axe murder, they're gonna call in probably just big head there is, including like the state police investigators, state police coroner and whatnot. And they'll usually take the body and they'll investigate it themselves. They won't become a county issue, a state issue. And those I don't.
Okay.
But I have been on one pretty recently, and it is in the news, so it's pretty open to talk about now. Where there was like a father who went crazy and murdered his wife and kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy.
That's fucking awful.
This is a dark episode.
This is a dark episode.
I knew it was. I know that's why I have
it. On his mind.
Jimmy like came in here and he's like, "What the fuck?"
I don't know. I won't go into too much detail. It is online. It is online, so you can do your own research and formulate your own opinions, because really what's on the internet is no more in depth of what I could come up with.
So that's considered a double murder suicide, right?
Double
homicide.
Double homicide murder, or double murder suicide.
Yeah. So I that I don't understand.
Oh, no one could. No one could.
It's so fucked up. Like, why would you? Okay, this is gonna sound fucked up. Don't kill anyone, of course. I mean that, and I would never kill anyone. I don't like violence. But I can understand being like really angry at your spouse and just losing it one day, because that happens all the time. You hear stories about people like,
oh yeah,
I murdered my wife, or the other way around, like I murdered my husband to get the insurance money. That.
You go home with, you have a monster or two, and you're Theo Von said, you're ready to go home and beat your wife. You know what I'm saying? Monsters. Like you're one too many monsters. You're not just punching the wall and
yeah. So I don't agree with it, but I understand that part. But then the killing your kid.
That part. Yeah, that part.
I could never understand that.
Nobody could. Nobody could. And to this day, I don't think can still,
I know, like,
talk to neighbors, but
since we're on this topic and shit like that, so I read this lady stabbed her 2-year-old while telling her that she was going to go to sleep and that she loved her, so on and so forth. And then she ate her liver.
Oh,
What?
And
yeah.
I
Jesus
swear to
Christ.
God, I can look for this article, and yeah, it's real like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what would possess you to like that shit is crazy. And then like
Sometimes
for
I
you,
don't
like
know
for
what it
someone
is.
like yourself that like has to, you know, like this is your job. Like I can just imagine like how that like shit, that's crazy. Like when you see that, like
Yeah. You tend to see a lot of weird shit when you're out there, but it's like you gotta treat it as like just another job. You gotta take it like, you know, just another day at the office and not let it affect you.
Got emotionally disconnected.
do you go to therapy?
Absolutely. No, I haven't been to. I really don't go to therapy. I'm not like I'm not going crazy anytime soon. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I feel fine. No,
That's-
it's a fucked up part of life. That's the way I look at it. And
The
it's,
only-
you know, whether or not it's by design or by nature, people die. And there's nothing to do about it. And I've come to terms with that.
That's good.
Interesting.
I think the only murderer that I get down with is Dexter.
He's got a lot on his mind.
Does it right.
He's a mind I'd like to pick.
Yeah. Dexter, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
Good mind. Bad man, but a good guy.
Good guy,
That
but
man's a
bad
good
man.
guy. Yeah. That I have a list of the top 10 countries with the highest murder rate. Right?
Oh, can we guess some of them on there?
Would
I've
you
been to
like
one. Been to one.
Okay, what's the one?
Well, Sao Paulo, Brazil. I know that's on there. Yeah, that
Is Brazil on there, Jimmy?
You know, Brazil's not on the list.
No,
Wow.
really.
I know that Brazil is absolutely insane. I've been to Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a guess.
Crazy.
I am going to guess Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What number is
Yeah,
Venezuela?
Number 3.
Oh,
Very good.
I was
Nice.
trying to get number one.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, Venezuela. Stephanie, you have a guess before Jimmy gives us the list?
Nicaragua.
I'd probably say it's number 6.
Nope. Nicaragua is not on there.
Nah.
All right.
What's
So-
what's number one? What's the
I'll give you guys a hint. Okay.
Okay.
The top 3 countries with the highest murder rate are all Hispanic countries.
Yeah. So number 3 was Venezuela, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got that one. Okay. I'm going to say Mexico. Why not try Mexico? Nope. Okay. Fuck. The Dominican Republic?
Nope.
Peru.
Nope. Actually, Peru's pretty classy.
Is
Yeah,
it
Peru.
classy? I don't know much about it.
Chile's pretty
Not
classy. Peru's pretty
Argentina?
classy.
Guatemala.
Fuck. All right. Okay. How about
Guatemala.
How about you do this, Jimmy? You start from 10 and give us to number 1.
Panama.
Okay. So number 10, out of every 100,000 people,
Okay.
35.7 thousand people are murdered in South Africa.
South Africa. Okay.
Which is
Yeah.
really bad because I wouldn't mind living in South Africa.
No, God, it's supposed to be beautiful there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a bastion of peace and prosperity. And
Yeah, I
then-
think it used to be. It's gotten really
Used to be.
shitty over- yeah, like if you went there, I think even in the 80s and before, it was very, very nice. And
Millennia has
Go
some
to
real
South
habits
habits.
Africa as an American right now, you're living large. You know?
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Because the currency is like 18 to 1. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's
So what's number 9 then?
Number 9 is Saint Kitts and Nevis.
really.
Oh.
Wow.
1,000 people for every 100,000. I don't even know what Saint Kitts and Nevis is. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys.
It's an island in like it's a Caribbean island.
Yeah.
People
Pirates
go
used to
there.
go there.
People go there on
I
cruises.
actually have family member that has family out there.
You know, I'm going to take another guess at the list. I wonder if the United States is on there just because of how many people we have.
Yes, the United
Yeah.
States is on there. Yeah,
Mhm.
but you'd be surprised. It's actually the Virgin Islands.
Is number
Ooh.
8? Okay.
I don't know much
No,
about
it's
the
not
Virgin
number 8.
Islands.
It's number 4.
Oh, number 4. Okay.
So
The US
those
Virgin
that are looking to
Islands.
vacate in the Virgin Islands, be cautious because that's where they're gonna collect your.
I don't even know the demographics of it. I don't know much about it. You see it on commercials, like take a trip there, but
Yeah, again, I know the English used to have colonies all over there, but I don't know now who's there. All right, sorry. Yeah, we're jumping all over this list. All right,
Mhm,
what's number
mhm.
8?
Good
Jimmy? I'm
list.
sorry.
Oh, we're not guessing anymore. I'm just-
No, sorry. I know that was I took us out of it by guessing the United States. Sorry. So okay, so what's number 8?
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
Wow.
36.5 thousand people getting slaughtered on average
Jesus.
out of
All right.
every 100K.
I wonder who the funeral director is down there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Connor, imagine you had to go over there.
If I was
You guys
working,
just want to know the number one? 'Cause
I'm curious.
I wanted to know the top 10 list though.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
wanna
number
know the top
7.
10.
Yeah, let's go through the whole list. We can do it
All right,
quicker if
all
you
right,
want to do
all right,
that.
That's cool. That's cool. Number
Blow
7
through
is
it.
Belize at
Mm.
37.
Okay.
Okay.
So these numbers are kind of close, right? Because you got 35,000 in South Africa and then 37 in Belize. So
Okay.
not too crazy. Number 6 is Lesotho.
Where's that?
No idea.
Okay. How do you spell it? Let me look that up.
Lesotho.
Lesotho, you said? Lesotho. Southern Africa.
Mm.
Really?
It's near let's look at this. Yeah, it's like this weird, I don't know if here you can see my screen. So that's like South Africa, but then see this little circle right here. If you zoom in,
Yeah, it's like the circle nation within.
yeah.
It's like a nation within a nation.
Yeah, so that's Lesotho.
It was pretty cool. I looked that up
Wow.
a long time ago.
Okay.
I'm doing a little personal research on that.
I
That's
was
pretty
doing
cool.
my own personal research.
I do that. I get myself into some Wikipedia, icebergs and stuff like that, and I go down
The rabbit hole.
the rabbit hole on my
Are you
couch.
Are you looking for aliens
Oh my.
in these icebergs?
Am I looking? No, you know what? I'm not. I've actually just recently, I watched Bob Lazar's documentary, and I got to say, wow, that put me over. And I watched his podcast with Joe Rogan, and I was just like, I was intrigued. I was listening. I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts like driving, but that was one that I was right on and just listening to. Jesus, this guy, if you believe him or not, you got to take everything he says with a grain of salt. But say you believe him, say it was real. And this guy actually worked in Area 51 in S4 subsection of Area 51, working on the propulsion system of the UFO.
Okay.
How cool is that?
That is pretty
Look that guy up, Bob Lazar. He's like,
Well, he was a scientist, right?
he was. He was
Okay,
the
yeah.
scientist he was a young scientist in the 80s. And I don't know his full backstory. I know he used to work on jet cars and stuff like that and free copy it. And he worked for a few labs or applied for a few different labs and then found his way into Area 51, working there with the US government. And they put him on a project of how to solve the question of how UFOs propel themselves.
Yeah, and it was by gravity displacement.
Yeah, right. Or anti-gravitational mean.
We're right here, Connor. We're right here, man.
Where you and I are locked in.
We are locked in.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big UFO nerd until I watched that, and I was like,
I'm
damn,
just
it's someone who knows their fucking 2 cents of salt talking about UFOs. And because most of the time you just hear about crazy folk talking about, oh, I was abducted by aliens. They put a probe up my butt and called me a lizard, and then this guy knows his stuff.
If there's anything I talk about, at breakfast, it's murder and UFOs.
UFOs.
Yeah. So Jimmy, what is number 5 on the list?
Number 5, Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay.
Yeah, I can see.
I'm
Could've guessed
surprised nobody
Jamaica.
said Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm surprised
Okay.
too because my
Yeah.
my colleague he's taking a vacation there in July, and we were talking about it just the other day, and I don't know why it slipped my mind. But yeah,
Have
Jamaica.
you guys ever been to Jamaica?
No,
I have
not never been.
No.
Nope. Have you been to Jamaica?
Yeah, I love Jamaica. So Jamaica is one of those places where you can be in a very kind of touristy area.
Mm.
It's a 45-second walk from shit getting real.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, he actually owns a farm in Jamaica, and he had a bunch of goats and chickens and stuff. So whenever we went to Jamaica, he was like, "Hey, come with me to go visit this farm, do a video shoot." I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll take videos of fucking chickens," So we go to this farm, and he's got some people that are working there. And I just remember we were in there's buildings and there's houses and there's all this cool stuff. We go down this road and then it was just like nothingness. And then on the same street of the farm, there was like this little shack, right? And this little shack was selling alcohol and Jamaican rum and fruit. You're not going to believe who fixed my drink. It was like a 9-year-old girl.
Oh, I was going to say Bob Marley.
Well,
I was going to say Bob Marley.
it ain't. Well, I wouldn't believe that. It ain't more about Bob Marley.
Bob Marley served me up a nice rum and Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 9-year-old girl.
It was like a 9-year-old girl that was working this booth. Just like,
Hey, listen, she's got a hustle. She's got a boyfriend.
Hey, you gotta. I love
And
to
make them
love to
tips.
see it. Make them tips. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But, yeah.
okay.
Number 5 on the list is Jamaica.
So, and then we already said number 4, right? That's the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3 was Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's number 2?
Honduras.
Honduras. Okay, that makes sense.
And
Forgot about that one.
number
Interesting.
1, can I get a drum roll, please?
All right.
Who's that?
Salvador. If you go to
El
El Salvador,
Salvador.
your ass is getting chopped the fuck up. Every
Damn.
100,000 people, 61.7 thousand people are getting slaughtered on the daily out there, cuh. On the
Rough
daily.
job.
Take
Connor,
note.
I know where you got to move to.
That's
Make
money
that
right
money.
there.
That's money.
That's people.
Jeez.
People are seeing death and dismemberment. I'm seeing dollar signs.
You'll probably just drive down the street and see bodies.
Yeah, I just got to take the van down the road, and I'll fill up my 2 stretchers in the back real quick.
Dude, there's this guy I follow on YouTube. I don't want to put him out there, but he's like a traveler, right? So what he does is he goes to different countries and he vlogs. And he's been in multiple like countries, but he was in this one country and it had favelas. So I don't know if that's Brazil, but
Well,
it had, like,
every I would say almost every South American nation, at least most of them, they got a favela of some sort.
yeah. So
I've
this
seen them.
guy-
I've seen them in Mexico and I've seen them in Brazil, and they're all the same.
all pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
This guy's going into the favelas, and
Oh.
he kind of
Braver man than me.
catfishes you in, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I was held hostage in this Brazilian favela," and then you find out that he was actually just like in
Jesus.
a public street, and then he's walking around, and then somebody invites him to his house. But what I loved was in these little neighborhoods and areas, I learned that they eat the same dish pretty much every single day. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, the dish looked smacking. Smacking. It was like rice, pepper, and then some type of pork or beef, but they like did it in like some.
They probably put all that shit in one big pot, and they put it around a fire or whatever stove they got, and they make
Every
that
day.
shit the same day, every single day, or they make enough of it for the week.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Hell
do what you
yeah.
got to do.
You know, speaking of big pots and dishes, I think it's time that we segue into one of our favorite segments we like to do here at Great Morning. But Jimmy, do you think it's time?
I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time.
Stephanie, do you think it's time?
I think it's motherfucking time. I think it's time.
All right, cool. Well, I think it's time that we do one of our favorite segments here at Great Morning, and that is, of course, the word of the day. Word of the day. Oh, so Connor, this is your first appearance on the show, so I know you've listened to the show before, so you might know how it works, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you and the listeners anyway. So the word of the day, right? Jimmy, he just left to go grab it, but he's going to go grab the big old dictionary he has. It's this old dictionary that's been in his family for thousands and thousands of years. And it's an old Webster's dictionary signed by Webster himself. And we like to call it the big old dick. So he's going to take out that big old dick and he's going to flip it open to a random page. He's going to put his finger down on it.
He's going to pull his baby leg out.
Yeah, he's going to put his finger down on it. He's going to lift his finger up. Look at that thing. Do you see it?
Holy moly, baby leg. I was not kidding.
He's going to lift his finger up, and whatever his finger landed on will be our word of the day. Then you, as the guest, have to use that word in a sentence. But don't worry, Jimmy will give you the definition of the word. He will spell it. And if it's an archaic word, because there's a lot of archaic words in there, I will find a modern day definition for you. And then what you're graded on, because at the end of every season, we make a top 10 list of all our guest sentences. and we rate them on how funny they were, how creative they were, and of course, if you use the word correctly.
Why am I nervous?
All right. So do you understand these rules?
I do. Yeah. Yes, sir. I do.
All right, great. Well then, Jimmy, whenever you're ready, my friend.
I'm looking forward to this one, Connor. Got a lot of faith.
I know you already got one picked out. I know it.
No,
See,
that's
that's
how the
the
word
thing.
of the day works.
There's
All
like
right, all right.
20,000 pages in this book.
I see that.
It's fucking huge.
Big white whale. Moby Dick's white whale.
If
You
you
wanna
hit someone
talk
in the
about
head with that
pressure?
thing,
Captain Ahab's white whale. Mess that up. If it's something relevant to what we were just discussing, I'm gonna
that would be
lose my
great.
mind.
That's happened a few
Oh,
times, believe it or not.
It happens
Yeah,
all
I
the
bet.
time. And I'm pretty sure it's because this book might just be followed by a spirit.
Remember Harlow's word? Like literally, we had a porn star
Yo,
on here, and
Harlow was
her word was
epic.
head.
Insane. Yeah. But I got thumbprints in this thing. So before there were signatures, it was always like a print. So whoever made this book put their thumbprint in here, which means it's haunted, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That's
All
what
right,
the
you
book
guys-
forever.
You guys ready?
Oh yeah, we're ready. I'm ready to look up this word as well. Chances are it's not going to be something easy.
Here we
One
go.
day, I hope the word he gets is just the.
That'd be great. My eighth grade literacy skills would be on
Right.
fire.
I got to do it again. It took me too long.
All right.
Because whenever I put my finger down, I started scanning the pages. And
Mhm.
be subjective that way, right?
Yep.
Fair. Make sure you lick the tip of your finger. Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice. Your word is
Not feeling confident.
gadium.
Okay. Can you spell it?
What?
Yeah. GHAT, a little like hyphen, TIGUM. And that
Mm.
is an Indian gum from the Dava and related trees used as a substitute for gum, Arabic.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So it's a gum. It's a tree gum.
So
Gadi gum.
Gotta
so
go. The
okay.
gat gum.
I'm finding the
is
modern day
so cool.
definition.
There ain't gonna be one.
Yeah, okay, so this is Gotti gum. I found something. So
Ooh,
the modern
ooh.
day definition or the modern day spelling is GHATTI space GUM. And this is what it says. This small to medium-sized tree from East Asia produces a gum called Gotti gum that has commercial importance in several industries. Grown for soil stabilization programs and also mainly for its gum and tannins. It also provides a wood that is useful as a good firewood, producing high energy value for making fences and can be opposite in agroforestry situations.
So it's more of a agricultural thing than a maybe a pleasure thing of chewing gum.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a picture of it. This is wow, there's not many pictures of it. This is one of them.
That looks foreign. Looks a little
Yeah.
scary to me.
That
Wow.
looks weird.
What a fucking
Yeah,
word. What
I
a
just-
fucking word.
I just kind of picture somebody working one day at the job, you know,
Yeah.
doing whatever, maybe getting some coconuts, maybe slaughtering some fields, you know, doing the thing, and they're just like, "Hey, you know, some gaddy gum," and then they hand somebody some gaddy gum
you want some gat gum?
on this fucking bark, you know, and they're just bark.
They probably chew that shit around a fire. Oh man, I wonder if that makes you like hallucinate like some of the other like peyote or something.
Ayahuasca.
Hawaii ayahuasca, yeah, some peyote shit.
Shout out to Faith. Okay, Connor, are you ready to give us a sentence?
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot. I mean,
All right. Whenever you're ready.
I put that gaddy gum in my N95 mask and I chew on it so the smell of decomposing bodies don't smell so bad.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
All right.
And I do that for
Okay.
a fact, not with gaddy gum, but with great bubble gum.
Great but
Interesting.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
that helps with the smell.
Absolutely, the mask on, and you chew great bubble gum. The smell, it's not bad.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for your word of the day sentence, Connor. We will let you know in the following months if you were able
Yeah,
to
send
make
me an
it.
email whether or not that made the top 10.
You'll probably get like an Instagram notification if that even got on. But we will see. I think now you are the I gotta count, but I think you are the 10th guest this season. I believe. Maybe not. Maybe the 9th. I forget. So at some point We're going to start having to knock people off the top 10 list. So we'll
I
see
see.
soon.
Yeah, I hear you. Who was on before me?
Faith Marie, she was on. She was a Muay Thai fighter and a videographer, and she has dabbled in ayahuasca. That was the episode before you.
She's got a bigger pedigree than me. I'll tell you that.
She's like a world traveler, so she went to the Amazon and did a bunch of ayahuasca.
I tell you what, that was what I always dreamed of when I was a kid. When I just wanted to be a wolf.
You dreamed of traveling and taking ayahuasca?
I want to be a wolf.
I just want to be a wolf, Mom. Don't know what you want from me.
Oh my God. You know, I had a question here written down for Connor before. So one of the
question while you look for that question.
Okay, I have the question. So who wants to go
you
first?
Found it?
I found it. I found it.
Okay, let's play rock, paper, scissors.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right,
here we go. Ready? All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That was bullshit. I went before you. You took an extra turn.
No, there's no way, man.
All right, fuck it. I don't care. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Murmur asks me questions every single day, so it's nice to hear from somebody else.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of. I got a good question for you, man. And that is, did you just stumble across this job, or were you just like, I want to work with dead people?
Yeah, I get that question probably about like every week from some people.
So you got your answer.
Half and half. Yeah, it's like half and half. The answer's still the same. Like I was always friends with the son of the family that runs the 2 funeral homes that I work for. It's a father and it's a brotherly business venture that they started. They own 2 funeral homes, and I went to school with one of their son. I grew up with him, and I was kind of always just like around it. You know what I mean? Like I'd go pick him up at the funeral home. I'd walk in there. And then one day I started working with their son, going out picking up bodies because I just needed extra cash.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You heard it right.
No, yeah, there's nothing much to it. Yeah, it was really just as simple as that. And that's funny because like most people would be like, why the fuck would you just up that?
Yeah.
Like,
how did that conversation go? Was somebody just like,
that is fucking
man,
crazy?
Connor,
it didn't hit as hard as like a random question like you did. Hey man, you want to come pick up the guy that just overdosed? No,
well, you never know. Like, was this like?
Yeah.
Are you like a high school kid? Are you like 18?
Yeah, no. It was like I was 18. Like I was just going into the army, so I had like all summer, and he asked me once if I wanted to do it, and I did it a few times with him over the summer. I was like, man, that's kind of fucked up, and I didn't do it again for because I was leaving for the army that same year, like at the end of the summer, and so for the 4 years. I didn't do anything because I wasn't going home to make some extra cash on the side, scooping up bodies. No, it was I got home about 2018, late 2018, and I would do it on the side from my other job with them because I liked hanging out with them, and the job really wasn't that bad.
I want to be your friend. I want to be the guy that's like, hey, we get out of school and stuff. It's like, hey, man, what are you about to go do?
What do you got to do?
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go head over to Sonic.
I'm gonna go play some Xbox real quick.
I gotta pick up this dead guy. You want to come? Can you help me out? I'll give you like $40. Yeah.
It was 50 at the time. It was $50.
$50? Oh man.
$50 bill.
Hey man, I'll take you to Sonic real quick if you just want to come help me pick up this
Oh yeah. We used to go to we have what's called a Quick Check around here, which is like a gas station deli
like
kind of
7-Eleven.
It was a 7-Eleven sandwich place. They make your sandwiches fresh right there. We used to just go. We would drop off in the morgue and then go straight to Quick Check. Go get ourselves a fresh dip.
So you said you served in the army.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did a term?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, I know you guys are. I'm sitting with a bunch of veterans myself, so right back at you.
Yeah. Jimi is a chief still in the Navy, and I
know. I had heard from Murmur. You guys, you're still in. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad you're still in because a lot of people tend to get out right after their first 3 or 4 years. Their first contract. No, and you know what? I did. My back hurt. I had scoliosis. I realized that there was a lot of bullshit, and at the time, I was still young. I was like 21, 22 years old, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm not gonna re-enlist.
It's funny because I tell people all the time,
mm-hmm.
they expect me to be the guy that's like, stay in, because that's kind of
Yeah.
season. That's like a passed down tradition thing. But when people,
Oh yeah, no, the Army's the same way.
I'm like, yeah, bitches are selling bathwater on Twitch for 6 figures a month.
For sure.
Do
For
whatever you
sure.
want these days. You
You
know.
know,
Yeah.
those kids
I
making.
just wanted to say thank you for your service, but it would have been great to been a friend to just be like, hey, you wanna go pick up this dead guy and then go get a sandwich over at this fucking gas station?
And yeah, I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's go.
You know,
'Cause I was always that kind of guy. I was always just like, I liked to make memories, no matter how weird or crazy they were.
yeah, that's a weird memory.
And that was it. I was just like, fuck it, like that's something to tell a story around a campfire later on.
And you're over in Jersey, right?
I am, yeah, North Jersey. Same with
Cool.
Murmur.
Yep.
Murmsy, when I come out to North Jersey, we got to go see a body with this guy.
I'll take you. I got the van in the driveway right here.
It's funny because
I think I
he's
own it
got
sometime.
he's got a siren on the van too. So sometimes
It's,
when we hang out with our
full-
friends,
full police sirens and everything.
we'll hear Connor like, oh, I wonder when Connor's coming. And then we'll hear him just put the siren on and he's like pulling down the driveway.
It's got a megaphone in there and everything. I can grab the controller for it and I can talk through it.
I love
Yeah,
that small town shit. That shit's cool as fuck.
Yeah, it's
Small
funny
town
because it's
stuff
like
that.
it is. You know what? We go to a lot of the small town stuff, but where we live here, it's really not a small town. It's very, I don't want to say metropolitan, but definitely suburban at least. You know.
Yeah, I think we're talking more about like when we go back to like
Oh, yeah, when we go-
like Branchville and
Oh
shit.
yeah, that's small town.
Mm,
Everyone knows everybody up there.
Everyone knows everybody over there.
That's
Connor, okay.
not
I'm sorry. I had this one question for you, and I
Mm.
know you and I have kind of discussed this before.
Oh,
So this is going to be kind of a morbid question, but also at the same time, I think it's going to be a little funny. So when you have to pick up these bodies, are they already moved for you by the
No,
time
not
you
really.
get there? Yeah.
No.
So-
Usually when we show up, it's the investigators there rarely ever touch them until the medical examiner arrives.
Yeah.
And when they arrive, we arrive with them pretty much because we're like, right around the same time we show up.
So if I were to pass, which I hope I don't for a long time, and you had to come pick up my body, and I decided, like, I knew I was dying.
I'm
and like,
tossing
you
your
know
ass
what?
over my shoulder. Like, you eat me out the window.
But if I decided, like, I know I'm dying, I'm gonna climb into this small cubby in the attic.
Oh yeah.
That's hard to like get out of. You would have to then go in there and get my body out of there.
Yeah. That's really what we're contracted to do. Is really just retrieval.
Are you gentle with this body, or are you just like,
You know what? Sometimes
Don't get him in trouble here.
it's just it's very situationally, like it depends on it. It really does. Like if that guy's like in the attic, like Christian was saying, which I've had one in the attic before.
Wow.
It's not easy. Like
No.
you're lifting a full grown man or woman and trying to pull them out. It's just it's
It's
not an
dead
easy
weight.
thing. Like it's complete dead weight. And you know what? They could be as skinny or fat as they tend to be. And it ain't easy.
crazy. So we did this. We were doing some ops, and during this little evolution, a MV-22 Osprey, which is like a helo, goes around and it takes off, and then it hits the water. And
Oh
then
my god.
as
That's
it
the one
hits
with the dual rotor that's tilting, right? Yeah.
Yep. I already know.
I've always heard those things had problems.
Bad problems, bro. Worst aircraft in the Navy, or the Marine Corps, I should say. So it hits the water. Everyone in there died, right? All of them. And then we spent 5 days salvaging their bodies. And then in my space,
Oh my god.
right, we have a morgue because like it's my guy's job to like clean this morgue
Yeah.
up. But in my space, man, we got this morgue, and I remember we were just salvaging these bodies and then like put them in the morgue, and for like 3 weeks, it just ranked
Yeah, it doesn't smell good.
because they're not embalming, they're not cleaning.
No, they're there. They're just
But the
I'm sure
guys-
it's cooled, right? They got like a temperature regulated phase.
Yeah, and it's cool. That's about it. But I feel bad for the guys, man, because one of the guys was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, man, I just went to grab like the hand or the arm, and then as we're kind of trying to get to like the main limb to like get some momentum, he grabs the hand and then he grabbed the shoulder, and then as he's trying to pull the guy from the shoulder, like the skin."
The skin, yeah. It's called skin flippage.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it sucks.
How-
And I've had
how-
Yeah.
You okay? Jimmy's like,
Yeah. No, I've had a few where they were in the water like that, where they drowned in the Delaware River.
Yeah,
And
that was my question. I was leading into, have you had to
into
pull out?
drownings. Yeah. I've had to do that. Those aren't as tough, physically, because usually, especially if it's like a river and it's like a patrolled river by Fish and Game, or um, like state police, they'll patrol the river. We'll get on the boat with them and we go over there, and they're usually there to help.
yeah.
But yeah, the smell on those, oh God, like I don't even want to describe
doing
it.
this. Do you see yourself doing this job kind of like for the rest of your life?
You know what? The medical examiner half of it, I probably won't do for the rest of my life. That's like a contracted position through the funeral home that I work for, and they just rely on the funeral home guys to kind of go out and do that. But that contract expires every 2 years. You have to bid on it with other funeral homes in the area. So there's always a chance that you could lose it, or you could just not put in for it the next term. So that's kind of hit or miss. And I don't see myself doing that for a while. The actual funeral home stuff, yeah, that's careers for people. That's lifetime careers for people. They go on to own their own funeral homes. They run them themselves. And you don't see a whole lot of that stuff when you're just doing funeral home work. You see the family side of it. You see how you're going to help the family. You're going to help your community. And that's really it. That helps.
My sister, she God bless her soul. God bless her heart. She sold caskets. And I remember she called me one day and she was talking to me and she's like, I just feel so bad because like I want to live too. But my mentor, her mentor in the business at the time, right, was like super rich and shit. So that's why she got into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
Upsell the casket. Like, no, you need this leather. You need like all of this and all of this. Like you're selling a used car to a dead guy.
Yeah. And you know what? There's a lot of stigma around that too. It's like, even in the school that you go to, they try and run that stigma out of you, because there's a lot of funeral directors that'll treat this job like they're selling used cars.
Yeah.
Like we gotta upgrade you to this package, or they'll put hidden fees in there and stuff like that, and they'll try and sell. When you're making arrangements with the family of whoever's died, they come in, you sit down in an office, you make arrangements with them of what they want to do, and a lot of people they'll upsell you on shit you don't really need, because in the end of the day, the service of the funeral, the funeral itself, it ain't for your brother, it ain't for your sister, it's not for your father, it's not even for you, it's for them who died.
Yeah. And that's why I would want the best funeral. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into action here, and we're going to talk to Murmsy. We're going to talk to Stephanie. We're going to talk to you. And I'm going to ask, what is your perfect, if you could go out in any way, what are you telling your family to do with your dead body, your dead corpse? How are you going out in the world if you could go out in any way ever?
Tough question.
I'm gonna quote Frank Reynolds here and say, when I die, just throw me in the trash.
You know what? That's respectable too, because there's a lot of people in this world that want to have all the lights and all the fashion and all that. They want to have a big ass funeral, and there's no disrespect to that. I applaud that, but there's a lot of people who are just like, just throw me in the trash. Burn me up, throw my ashes to the wind. I don't care. But I think there's a sense that you need to be remembered more.
Yeah.
Than just that.
Stephanie, how do you want to be buried or cremated or whatever?
Well, I want to be cremated, and I want to be like turned into like, I don't know, like a diamond or something. So like, yeah, that's
Dude,
what I want.
That reminds me of like that Louis C.K. joke. He used to do that where he's like, man, I hate it when people are like, I want you to take my ashes and I want you to spread them. He's like, fuck you, you're dead. I'm not running errands for you when you're dead. I'm not doing that shit.
You want me to fly out to the Grand Canyon? Bitch, I barely get a plane ticket to Mexico for vacation. Fucking do that for you.
Dump my ashes where I met my husband. I'm
what? No, I'm not doing all that. No. Just turn me into a fucking something,
Yeah.
Something
Dude.
that
we met in El Salvador. We met over in El Salvador. We had a vacation and you got murdered. You want me to fly all the way back to El Salvador and put our whole family at risk?
Well, no, not me.
Player.
Crazy shit.
I hate to do this to you guys because I know this has been a morbid episode and we've been talking a lot about death and funerals and, picking up bodies and all that. But I'm sad to say that it's unfortunately that sad time of the podcast where we actually got to start wrapping things up here. I'm sorry. We got to go around and do our last minute plugs. So
say our goodbye.
We got to say our goodbyes. Connor, don't worry. We will get to you soon. But I'm going to go ahead and ask our Puerto Rican mamacita, Stephanie, do you have any last minute plugs for listeners?
Yes, I do. So I want to give a big ass shout out to this place called Banana King. They have some banging ass food.
I'm a fan of that.
And they actually have they have one in Patterson. They have one like in Jersey City, and like they have like the best fucking smoothies. So guys, if you're in New Jersey, you in North Bergen, and you see a freaking Banana King, go have you some Banana King and get you a smoothie because them shits is like fucking popping. And they also have an Instagram. Let me put y'all onto their Instagram really quickly. Their Instagram is bananaking_corp. And I mean, you can click on their link.
Is that like a small chain spot, or is it just like a one-off?
It's about 5 different locations that they have. And I mean, the shit is bomb. And you know what's even crazier? It's 24 fucking hours. 24 fucking hours.
Ooh, that's right on my alley. Anything 24-hour like that is.
Yeah, man. And it's like, like Colombian. It's like Colombian fast food,
Oh, you don't find that. Good. You never find that. You gotta go to a sit-down spot or a strict takeout.
Good. It is so fucking good. And it's just like, yo, like when you have like one of those days where you just like, yo, I want some like late night, some arepas or something, or a fucking smoothie or a burger or something. Like you have a 24 Colombian fast food spot. Shit's fire. It's fire. And their smoothies are fucking amazing. Like A1.
Bergen County, here I
come. So shout out to them. Yes. And so so that's pretty much it. I've been feeling so fucking blessed, and I'm enjoying the space that I'm in, and everything is just going well for me. And so I just want to say thank you to myself for growing, and thank you for coming through and giving us this crazy ass information, because I would have never thought in a million years.
Oh yeah, nobody ever thinks about it.
That is just crazy. And guys, I love you per usual. And our little fans, I love you guys. Our listeners, I fucking love you guys. And that's it. That's it from your Puerto Rican mamacita. Murms got the handles. You already know how this is. Bye.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for those last minute plugs. And of course, Jimmy, my friend, you got any last minute plugs for listeners?
And love to the listeners. And then also shout out to all the murderers out there. Everybody out there, man, it's just back like knives in people's backs, man. Shout out to those motherfuckers with anger management issues. It's just capping people off of the head. Shout out to everybody out there that's just drowning and throwing people in acid and stuff. Because if it wasn't for you, man, Connor probably wouldn't be as employed, man. So
I would have no job.
I just want to say mad appreciation to all the Don Juans out there that's just, doing stuff that might send you to hell for all of eternity. And then also shout out to Heinz Ketchup, man.
Okay.
I'll go with that. They've been making condiments and shit before I was born. That's good enough for me.
Has to be Heinz. So
love to hear it.
And hot sauce.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for those last minute plugs. I love hearing them as always. And before we get into our honored special guest today, I'll do my last minute plugs. And my last minute plugs are, of course, you can follow Great Morning _the podcast. That is our Instagram podcast. That's where you'll get all your information about new guests coming out, new episodes, specials, all that. So stay tuned and follow that. Follow that Instagram. You can follow You Love Steph on Instagram. You can follow Slightly Special with 2 L's on Instagram. You can follow Trip God Jimmy. That is TRYPGODJIMI on Instagram. You can shop for your merchandise at shopgreatmorning.com. Again, that is shopgreatmorning.com. And again, remember, our first special of this year is coming out May 22nd, and that is the 4-year anniversary spectacular. So stay tuned for that. All right. Of course, stay tuned. And that's it for my last minute plugs. But moving on to Mr. Connor Phillips here. My friend, do you have any last minute plugs for listeners? Any last minute shout outs?
Man, I do. I always try and preach this. And it just goes beyond what I do, in the death industry. But this is just, you got to remain positive. And I know you hear that a million times from a million people across the world, but you got to keep a positive mindset, glass half full kind of attitude. Because if you don't, your life's going to go downhill and it's going to suck real bad every day. So no matter what it is you do, whether you're scooping bodies up off the side of the road, or you're serving burgers at McDonald's, or you're the CEO and you're making millions, you gotta look at life as the way it gives it back to you, and you gotta love it because it doesn't last forever. And take it from somebody who knows it don't last forever.
Wow, what powerful words there for the end of this podcast. Wow, thank you, Connor, for that. Yeah, this is a very morbid episode. Connor, thank you. I know if you ever come on again, I was surprised you didn't. I mean, the conversation didn't go this way, but I was surprised you didn't end up saying stupid stories about me doing something stupid. So thank you for that. I'm glad we just kept it morbid about dead bodies.
Oh wow, I'm so glad.
Yeah,
that's why he's wrapping it up. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, we might get into that soon, so I better.
As soon as I learned that you guys are in the same area, right? Because I kind of.
Oh yeah, we know.
I'm feeling the scene over here. I'm like, oh, Jersey, huh? Oh, okay.
North Jersey, huh?
What did Murms do?
Yeah.
Tell us now.
I hope he never speaks about the, what was that? The St. Patrick's Day party we had a couple years back.
Oh, Lord. That's something that can't be discussed on a podcast.
Yeah, that's
all right. Give us a synopsis in 3 words.
In what? In how many seconds?
3 words.
3 words. 9 a.m. obliterated.
Debauchery.
What's a good one? Traffic stop for you?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Although traffic stop is
2 words. It's 2 words, but I'll hyphenate it for you.
Yeah, there you go. Traffic stop. All right, fantastic. Well, maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But thank you guys, of course, for tuning in again. And that, of course, was our episode. Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning. Great morning.